It's the last session, which is entitled, crucially, How to Get Involved. This is where we explore the specifics of the second call for proposals. Joining me for this last 50 minutes will be two project coordinators from Interreg Europe, and afterwards we're going to invite back the two approved projects that you met earlier, Jane and Federico. So please, can you put your hands together and give a very warm, caffeine-fueled welcome for Elena Ferrario, who is project coordinator from Interreg Europe, and Katja Ecker, project finance coordinator. Welcome to both of them. Hello, take a seat. You're going to seat? Oh, you're going to stand and walk about. I'm going to sit here.
Heeft zij een mic? Nee? Handheld?
No one here. Hang on. Somebody will bring you. The gentleman will bring you very... I feel he needs music as he descends. Da 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 ya da da.
Okay,
Thank
good
you.
start.
We should clap that.
I broke the microphone. Okay, so again, a very good afternoon also from our side. We have the pleasure of guiding ourselves and you through this last part of the day. So, Elena, let's pretend for a second that we're not forever in the Secretariat. We're not these dinosaurs being there forever. And I mean dinosaurs not in a way of being extinct, but in being wise and well-known. What do you think a potential project applicant would be interested to get to know for this second call of proposals?
Not really, okay. Okay, so, indeed. So, thank you. I think if I were a lead applicant, I would like to know about the second call for proposal main characteristics. I would like to know about the success factors that make a good project proposals, and I would also like to know what the program is setting up to help applicants in order to prepare this good project proposal. But considering that half of you participants present in this room have never participated in an Interreg Europe program event before, I think it is important also that we spend just a few minutes describing a little bit more the project features. Erwin, in the previous session, has explained the very basics about the interregional cooperation project, and here I think it's nice that we go a little bit more in detail on this point. So, thanks already there. What is an interregional cooperation project? This is a tool that is available for organizations across Europe to work together on a specific topic, on a specific issue, with the final aim of improving regional policy or national or local policy instruments. A policy instrument, what is this? This is a mean for public intervention. We are talking about laws, regulations, acts, any document, any tool that a public authority puts in place to rule a specific regional policy development issue. So, for the first time in the European history, the EU regulations for this programming period have set very specific goal for our program, for the interregional cooperation program. And that is to say, we are supposed to work specifically on the improvement of the cohesion policy and in particular on structural funds. This is why there is this eligibility rule that requires all projects to come with addressing at least half of the policy instruments dedicated to structural fund, meaning ERDF or ESF operational programs. Erwin, again, has mentioned the 4 priorities of the program. I would like here very briefly to give some examples of the topics that are included in this very, very wide priorities. If we look at research and innovation, for instance, this is the place where we finance projects that deal with the setting up of innovation infrastructure, but also following the innovation chain, the innovation delivery, as well as the smart specialization strategy, of course. Under SME competitiveness, we work with projects that deal with the creation of the entrepreneurial spirit, the development of an enterprise in specific sectors, or even the growth of SMEs, so everything that is related to the life cycle of an enterprise. Under low carbon economy, we finance projects that deal with energy efficiency, with renewable energies, and also to a certain extent with sustainable transport. And finally, our fourth priority is a very wide priority where projects can deal with topics that range from the protection and the exploitation of natural or cultural heritage, but also water management, waste management, the circular economy, as we heard, everything that has to deal with resource efficiency, basically. So, as we said before, projects work on two phases. Phase one is the classic traditional way of doing exchange of experience. Partners get together, they spend time to exchange their competence, their knowledge on the specific topic they are working on. So they organize interregional events, study visits, peer reviews, and the result of this is collected in action plans. These action plans are documents that list the specifics of activities that every partner addressing a specific policy instrument would have to do, starting from the second phase of the program, in order to implement on the ground the lessons learned from the exchange of experience. Phase two, this is the novelty compared to the past. This is a new feature that has been introduced to fight the fog. Yes, it is a fog. The fog that raises up, that comes up once a traditional cooperation project ends. What happens with the results of the cooperation? Are there any mid or long-term effects on the territories of the partners involved? Well, if you ask around, most people perhaps would say, well, no, there are no effects of these exchange of experience projects. The thing is, nobody knows. It's not that there are not results. The thing is that nobody knows because nobody is actually there to follow up on these results, to check whether there are actually achievements on the ground. So this is the reason why we have introduced phase two, because we want to still be there to capture the results that can happen after the end of the cooperation moment, of the exchange of experience moment, and we would still require partners to be there and monitor what happens when the results of the lessons learned are in fact implemented on the ground. Activities in this phase are predefined by the program, so there is not much space for fantasy. As you see on the slide, there's 2 partner meetings, 1 big dissemination event, the update of the website, and basically this is all. Did I forget anything, Katja?
No, I think you covered that quite well. So let me just add to what Elena just outlined, what you can expect in terms of duration for your projects. So this phase one, the classical exchange of experience at policy level, can last up to 3 years. This is up to your needs. You will have to define how much time you will need for that particular activities. However, phase two is similar to the predefined activities, also predefined. Phase two will last 2 years as prescribed by the program. This also goes hand in hand a little bit on talking about the project partnership. What do we expect there? Well, I think you've already heard in this plenary session before how much it is important to involve the relevant policymakers, as they are the main target group of the program. And of course, it's great if they can be directly involved as partners, but it is also good if they are involved indirectly through the letters of support that would be necessary in such a case, and of course through their participation in the stakeholder groups. There's another buzzword, stakeholder groups. I think you've also heard that one quite often this afternoon. in case you're new to the program, I take a few moments to also talk a little bit about those stakeholder groups. Each project partner, or the other way around, for each policy instrument that you want to address in your projects, you will be asked to create a stakeholder group. And this is because it should help you to achieve the objectives of your policy change. It should smoothen the way. It should bring the people right from the beginning on board to work with you, so that at the end, when we talk about the implementation and the success of your projects, they will help you to get there. Another important point that also Erwin, I think, highlighted in his presentation already: who is eligible, meaning who can receive funding from the program, who can actually get some money. There are different partner forms, different legal statuses as displayed on the slide. I'll leave it to you to look into detail to that. Just to highlight that for Norwegian partners and also for Swiss partners, there's funds foreseen. Norwegian partners, the funds are handled directly through the program, and they will receive 50% funding.
So thank you, Katja. This was very interesting. Now I will ask you a classic. So, Interreg Europe is, of course, a EU funding program. And we all know about the reputation of EU funding program. People would say too much paperwork, a lot of bureaucracy, it's too complicated. So I'm asking you, what would you say to the man on the street that comes, or woman on the street that comes and says, this is too much for me?
Yes, I would say yes, maybe, perhaps. This is EU funds, this is public money, this is taxpayers' money, this is your friends, this is your money. And these funds come, of course, with strings attached. And we understand that this, of course, brings some administrative burden with you. But we also like always to highlight, first of all, given our experience, as particularly in Interreg FORSEE, we have to say the rules work. What we've seen also showed that the project partners have understood the rules and they put it into place. So one of the things compared from Interreg FORSEE to Interreg Europe is that we didn't try to do too many changes, but to rather improve on the things that can be improved. So what we're actually trying to do is to go to an even more simpler approach. So let me just, I use the opportunity of all of you, and you better bring this back home and tell your friends about it, that we try to do some simplifications in here. And so we're trying, first of all, to actually have less bureaucracy in terms of less paper. We're trying to do everything online in this new program. We're trying to increase the budget flexibility during your project implementation. As we are fully aware, this is a long time that you have been planning. Things change over time, and you need flexibility to still achieve the objectives of your projects. We no longer require projects to plan or later on report their budgets in accordance to work packages or components, as they used to call. This should also provide projects with more flexibility. We propose to have fewer controlled steps when it comes to the reporting of costs in the approved project. There will be no longer an additional control at lead partner level for the expenditure of the whole partnership. And as a last point, we also like to highlight that with the preparation costs, we now will give you a lump sum for the work done, and also we will continue the administration costs flat rate, meaning you will receive 15% of the reported staff costs as a flat rate. No further paperwork needed on this. Does that answer your question, Elena?
It does. Thanks a lot. Now tell us a bit more about the second call. We come to the core of this moment, of this session. Katja, please illuminate us with your knowledge on the second call for proposal.
Okay, it's my pleasure. Are you ready? Good. Okay, so first of all, the dates. The second call for proposal will be open from the 5th of April to the 13th of May, please note not only that the 13th of May is a Friday, you want to take that in consideration when you, if in case you're superstitious, but also that the call is supposed to close on midday Central European time. In case you plan to submit your application from a place that is not located there, take that into consideration when you click the submit button. Erwin already highlighted that for this call also there's no thematic restrictions in terms of what kind of projects we would like to see. And I would just repeat what he has already pointed out, that we're of course very happy to see projects in the thematic priorities 3 and 4, which are currently a little bit underrepresented in the first call approved projects. However, that does not mean that they will receive any beneficial treatments, but just that they are very welcome to come. There are no specific budget allocated to this call. And also as a change, I don't know if we have any people in the room that already submitted an application in the first call for proposals. In the second call for proposals, the application form will be fully submitted online. It is no longer necessary to submit any paper to the Secretariat. So no more worries about when does the post office close and what kind of stamp will I have on the envelope. I suggest we take some questions later also that everybody understands what you're asking. I think it's of interest for everybody. So, Elena. Yes. Let's talk about a little bit about how you can make your project proposal successful.
Yes. So last year we have spent a few months reading carefully about, well, not about precisely, 175 application forms. And we would like to take this opportunity today to share with you some of the lessons learned of this exercise and transform them into what we call the success factors of the projects that have actually been finally approved in the first call for proposals. So we would like to give some suggestions to lead applicants that come for the second call. And the first suggestion that we would feel to share with you is to be specific, first of all. The more your topic is focused, the more the information you provide is specific on a very focused regional policy issue, the better it is from the program perspective. There are at least three reasons why I'm saying this. First of all, there is the experience that comes from previous interregional cooperation programs and projects. We have seen, looking at the 200 projects that we finance under Interreg4C, that the more focused a project is, the easier it is for partners to exchange on the specific policy issue. The most certain you can be about the fact that they share a similar problem, a similar interest, and this eases a lot the cooperation and leads to really faster and better results for your projects. The second reason is the fact that the more specific you are, the more details you provide on the specific focus of your project, the more you are unique. Among the hundreds of applications that we may receive, your project will be unique compared to all the rest. And finally, the more in-depth knowledge you show about the policy instruments that you address, about the needs of your territory, about the issue that you actually are working on, the more credible your project is, simply. The second suggestion that we would like to make today is to be selective with your partners. By now you will be bored about hearing the famous history of addressing and involving the policymakers on board directly. It is true that these are our main target groups. Local authorities, regional authorities, national public authorities, these are the people that at the end of the day have the last word to say on the policies that they are in charge of. And this is the reason why, if we want to change these policies, if we want to improve these policies, they need to be involved directly. I'm not saying that they are the only one that should be involved and they are the only actual actor on the territory that can work on these policies, but they have the last word, and this is why it's important to have them there. either directly, if this is not possible, at least in the stakeholder groups. And for those organizations that are not directly responsible for the policy instruments, it's even more important, it's extremely important to demonstrate their policy relevance. What does it mean, the policy relevance? This is a very important concept to keep in mind. And there is a new paragraph in the program manual that specifies this a little bit more compared to the previous version of the manual. The policy relevance is really the way, it should show the way the organization is involved in the design and in the implementation of the policy instrument that this organization addresses. They should really demonstrate how they are involved in this, the role that they play in the decision-making process. Are they involved in the monitoring committee of this specific operational program? Are they regularly consulted by the regional authority on the specific policy issue and they contribute to the design of this policy issue, policy instrument, etc.? So this is extremely important. And the sentence that you see in brackets is also important. When we talk about the letter of support, this has a different aim. It's not through the letter of support that a policy instrument, that the policy relevance of an organization is demonstrated. The letter of support is there to show the support of a managing authority, a body responsible for a specific policy instrument, to the organization that is participating in the project. But this doesn't replace a clear description of the way this organization is in fact involved in the decision-making process of a specific policy instrument. Last word on this, the geographic coverage. We have received several applications in the first call that, let's say, concentrated their consortia on specific geographic areas of Europe. We all know that Interreg Europe is the only Interreg program that covers the whole EU territory, 28 member states, Norway and Switzerland. And what we would like to see is the same concept, the same philosophy mirrored in our projects. There should be somehow the same approach that comes from our projects. And this is why we warmly encourage you to avoid copies of transnational cooperation projects or even cross-border in certain cases. Final point. Forgive me if you think this is banal, if you know this already, but we felt that it was important to repeat it once again. Read the documents of the program, read the program manual, which is somehow our reference document. This is the document that is used by applicants to work on the projects, but it's the same document that is used by the program bodies to work on the program and by the assessors to decide on the projects in the end, to judge on the projects. So it is extremely important that you have a careful look at this document. I know it's more than 100 pages. Yes, I'm going where I should not go.
You do. You do. You do.
I had promised Katja that I would not say this is more than 100 pages.
It is not relevant. It's 100 pages of excitement.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, among these more than 100 pages, still we have to be sincere. There are very important information. And in particular, allow me to say a word on the eligibility. We don't have to forget that 1/3 of the applications submitted in the first call were finally declared not eligible. So they failed the first step of the application process. The responsibility may certainly be on two sides, applicants that did not read the rules, but certainly it's also the program that did not explain the rules fully. So this is why for the second call we have tried to improve our instructions in the program manual, in all the other documents that compose the application pack, and of course there is also the new feature of the fully online application form that hopefully will ease your job in filling in the application form. Finally, today and for the coming days, ask for help to your secretariat. We are a team of about 25 people. Today everybody's there to help you, to reply to your questions, to be at your service for building a good project proposals. So take advantage as much as possible of us for asking any questions, telling us about any doubts that you have on how to build a good project. In particular tomorrow morning, but even tonight after at the cocktail. Last word, the application form. This is an extremely important document, as you all may know, but this is a good opportunity to remind these basic principles. This is the document that allows for equal treatment and fair treatment for everybody. Everybody has the same rules, the same requests apply to all, and it is really the fairest way we can assess projects. It is not possible to integrate information once the application form is submitted. We cannot accept further clarifications after the end of the call on specific information that you have provided in the application form. So this is the reason why it is extremely important that you make sure that the application form is self-explanatory. And of course, this means that the preparation phase of your project, so these days, today till the 13th of May, but hopefully before that date, you really spend all your minutes if you're actually ready to submit a project under the second call to prepare carefully your proposal.
Yes, and I think I'm now going to tell you how we're going to spend the rest of the year. So after we have received all the applications, there will be first the eligibility check, which will be hopefully finished in June. From June to October, the planning currently foresees that we assess the applications, and that by the end of the year that the projects from this second call will be approved, so that hopefully the projects can start in early 2017. I think we provided by now kind of a sound structure on this thing. I think of course, sorry. As a last step, I think we wanted to highlight a little bit what we can do for you, actually, in terms of assistance to help you to provide us with good project proposals. So first of all, join the Interreg Europe community. And you being here means you've done that. Check. Because as I understand it, for the registration, it was necessary for everybody to sign up for the Interreg Europe community. But this is a very important tool. It offers a lot of things that we hope that you will find useful in the preparation of your project. We also invite you, strongly invite you, to have a look at the approved projects in the first call to make sure that the ideas you will present to us are complementary and not doubling ideas that are already there or even approved. And don't hesitate to also go further back. Have a look at Interreg Foresee projects that are already there. Try to show us by doing a thorough research that you bring an innovative aspect to the program. Elena, I think you might have something to add on that?
There is more. There is more on the website. There is a place that is called the Project Idea Database. You may all know about it already, but just in case. So this is a place where applicants, any interested person, can publish their project idea, and it's the place to look for partners, in fact. And from this place, this is somehow the starting point also to get in contact with the Secretariat in a way. Because you can, first of all, make an assessment, your own assessment of your project idea. There is a new feature in the program website that is called the self-assessment tool. This is a tool that is, it's a set of, I think it's 8 questions that, or 10, that are there for you to check whether your project idea is indeed relevant or not relevant for Interreg Europe. When you're done that, you can also ask for a specific feedback to the program secretariat. So you can request for a written or an oral feedback to us, to the JES staff, that we will provide as much as we can. Also, we have some online streaming tools. Every week on Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. in the morning. 2 or 3 members of our staff are available online to reply to any questions that you may have on your project idea, on the program in general. So this is also a nice opportunity that we provide for you to get in contact with the Secretariat and with the program. And finally, the application pack is already available online. You have a specific section of the website where you have the program manual, very important, the terms of reference, the templates of the letter of support of the partner declaration, and also the access to the online system that is, in fact, the application form. Finally, events. We also organize lead applicant workshops. Well, tomorrow in Rotterdam, same place. I hope you will all participate. We are organizing 4 specific workshops for applicants that are really willing to submit their proposals in the coming call. And we will repeat the same exercise, but this time online in the week 12-15th of April, meaning in 3 weeks' time, more or less. There will be a presentation made by the JS staff, and then there will be question and answer sessions for you, again, to refresh your memory if you are in Rotterdam, and for those who are not here, following us on web, perhaps, they can also attend. So please do register at this link that you see on the screen.
I think we covered it.
Yes, done.
I think we've done. Yes.
Good.